That was not good.
Or
I threw my phone across the room and I missed the soft part of the couch. It just bounced off the arm and then just hit the window and is probably chilling like in one of the plant pots. That's never happened before. But anyway,
you have one of those
ladies,
indestructible cases, so it doesn't matter. That's okay. As long as it's on the indestructible case, you're good.
Yeah. Well, anyway, welcome to the Daily Bone Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We discuss all things crypto market. That includes the majors like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, meme coins, and of course, NFTs. Today, we are going to discuss the latest in crypto price action with the Ethereum ETF expected to go live within one business day, ladies and gentlemen. Tomorrow is when we are going to start trading. Another historical day in crypto. Nobody seems to be that interested in it, which is very surprising. However, it's a big deal. Beyond that, we're going to discuss 3 upcoming catalysts to watch for this week. And the latest on Polymarket has Joe Biden has officially dropped out of the presidential race. It was very cool to see Polymarket essentially doing a victory lap after, showcasing that the market had determined a lot of the news ahead of the news. So it's like, Polymarket kind of told you first. It's actually pretty interesting. I was looking at it last night. There's a lot of different bets on there. Quickly, today's show is brought to you in partnership with Tensor. Tensor being the leading Solana NFT marketplace for pro traders. We've been seeing NFTs heating up quite a bit on Solana. A lot of action on Tensor right now. Easy, you've made a lot of calls of NFTs on, that people can buy on Tensor. What are you seeing right now?
It's all meme NFTs. Like, that's the thing. I actually talked earlier about this. Like, I've just been cooking on these meme NFTs. Retardio Cousins from 6 Sol all the way up to 30, which was crazy. I still think they have a clear path to 40. I look at things like Glorp, which me and Pio actually texted about. I was like, I'm buying a bunch of these sub 2. They ended up running as high as 5, a little over 5, like 5.02. Nice retrace here, personally. I scaled at 2 or 3 out at 5, still hold a handful just because I was like, 5 to 10 range. We'll see where they go. I think we may lose steam if more start dropping. I picked up a bunch of these Bando kids, which is like a lot of people on the timeline are saying they're the Remilio to the Retardio Cousins. Bando kids up a little bit more. They're like number 8 on volume. Yeah. So these are, you have to be over 18 because they have explicit images in the art. So maybe we don't scroll down and show the art, but
Wow.
Well, I think it's because there's a picture of Thread Guy in one of the corners doing a unfavorable act is probably the nice way to say it. Just like they took a selfie of him and just really demoralized the man as part of their traits. But those went from 0.1 to 1.5, so a 15x. So like these meme NFTs are just going absolutely crazy right now. And I think that's going to be the meta if NFTs run, is going to be almost entirely meme NFTs. It's the same as meme coins. If we have a meme coin super cycle, the beta bet is to hammer the meme NFTs. And we saw it with Retardio Cousins. People are saying the new main character on Twitter is this guy named Mitch, who's I Draw Lines. He turned 1 Sol to a little over $2 million since February on just meme coins. And has publicly documented the whole thing. So he's a Retardio cousin. Yeah, I draw a line. That's it. And he's been spot on with his plays. Like, this guy is absolutely cooking on the meme coin front. And he just keeps quote tweeting his wallet with, I had 1 Sol in February. And it's like 2.2 million. He just quote tweets it again. It's like all he's been doing. It's been an awesome journey to see from this dude because he's been hyper transparent about it and has just, so you actually may see the wallet right there to the left. One down one right there. Yeah, up $204,000 on the day. Reversal. And he was down 40 grand. So he's just like really just keeping it all on chain, just having fun with it. But he's a cousin. He's a cousin. So I think that's leading to some of it. Yeah, there's the full wallet P&L. Not doing a 1 Sol in February tweet, but this is ridiculous.
Well, very, very interesting stuff there. And yeah, you had pointed out Glorp the other day to me via text. So Glorp is essentially in the same family of NFTs that are interesting to this audience. It looks like it's retraced a little bit off of its high.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Just because you've had these other ones start to push in. And the thing with these is there is a tie to the NFT, the meme coin. So the Glorp meme coin has cooled off a little bit. When that rallies, these rally. And that's just kind of what happens is like, if you watch how the market moves on them and the token starts running, there's a pretty straightforward way for you to be like, okay, maybe it's time for me to pick up the NFT. Like if this stabilizes here and then pushes back to that 0.03 area, 0.003 area, these go back to 5, like with haste. So 1.7 fully diluted. The quote blue chip memes, usually sit a little bit higher, like 3 to 5 mil. And then like the really good ones are obviously like Popcat. You just saw Mew. Mew's now in the running to be the first cat to $1 billion, which is crazy. Rallied overnight, I think 45%, which is crazy to watch. Yeah, 728 million. So just a god candle on this. Now competing with Popcat and Mog.
Popcat already hit it.
Okay, so that is a conversation we can have. It hit it on one exchange because one person dumped a 300K market buy into it and it didn't hold. So there's like a bunch of drama with Poly Market right now because of the rule set for it. Like, does it have to?
Someone was trying to manipulate Poly Market.
Yeah, the speculation is somebody had a big position on it being the one.
That I didn't even think of that, but I should have thought of that, and that's something that people are going to do on those crypto bets.
Yeah. So yeah, there's the drama. 3.9 million in total bets. Someone with a 300K market buy on PopCap pushed it above 1 billion. But it was also only on one exchange. Like you can see that wick. Not every exchange picked up that price action. So they probably just found an illiquid market and sent it. And now you see there's a bunch of drama going on with it. Yeah, that's the tough part. We'll see. Because like that is the tough part with crypto, especially price action bets, is there's so many variables that people can get involved in to really just send it one way or the other versus like political bets where like it's just our girl Nancy Pelosi and the Clinton family taking all action behind the scenes and controlling that narrative.
Yeah, it's just it's basically just an objective fact versus a crypto asshole trying to manipulate the market for his own benefit. If I was Poly Market, I would just be like, what was the spirit of this, huh? Like really, what's the spirit behind this, guys? Like, I would not have any tolerance for it, and I wouldn't want to hear it if people were like, the bet was, it was filled. Anyway, so shout out to Tensor, Tensor.trade, ladies and gentlemen. You can buy, NFTs like Retardio Cousins, like Glorp, like Bodagos on Tensor.trade, the leading Solana NFT marketplace for pro traders. Let's get into the weather report. Signal, I believe that's you today. Hope you had a good weekend, by the way.
Yes, I did have a very good weekend. It's been full of action on the news front. It just hasn't stopped this summer. So let's see what's been going on Monday, July 22nd. Looking at the crypto roundup, the majors have rallied over the weekend with Bitcoin up to 67,500. Nice numbers. Ethereum is at 3,500 and Solana is at $180. The leading top 100 coin over the last 24 hours, we just spoke about it. It's Mew. That is up almost 40% to a 750 million market cap. Over the past 24 hours, top 3 stories. Well, firstly, if you must have been living under a rock if you didn't see this, Joe Biden has dropped out of the U.S. presidential election and has endorsed Kamala Harris. Polymarket has the odds of now Harris winning the Democratic nomination at 80 and the presidential election at 30%. Secondly, Mt. Gox has sent 4 test transactions to Bitstamp addresses this morning. Bitstamp is one of the exchanges refunding creditors. Mt. Gox still holds over 90,000 Bitcoin worth approximately $6 billion. So will we see a further sell-off happening later in the week? And then lastly, PopCap became the first cat meme coin to cross 1 billion market cap. Polymarket drama obviously followed this after a whale bought $350,000 off the coin, sending it briefly over 1 billion, which triggered the Polymarket bet on first cat coin to 1 billion to settle. That has been all the news stories over the weekend. It is back to you folks in the studio.
Fantastic weather report as usual. So diving into the first major story, obviously Joe Biden has dropped out of the presidential race, or he will not be running again after his term concludes later this year. He dropped out via a written message on social media, and he endorsed Kamala Harris as the next Democratic nominee. The odds on Polymarket right now, very interesting stuff. We have 80% for Kamala Harris. Michelle Obama, easy. I texted you yesterday about this one. I believe on this particular bet, it was at 4% yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow. So it was a 2x overnight. So I actually
almost a
right.
3x, like 2.5. Yeah, that was a good swing. I wouldn't touch the Michelle Obama one personally. Like a lot of people are speculating on the McAfee tweet from 2020, which led to this. They're saying McAfee had a tweet that said the first time traveler from Russia has returned. Yeah. And basically stated that Michelle Obama will be the nom following the DNC. We'll see. Personally, I still like the other bet here a lot. Because, all it takes is one person at the DNC to have, a good speech to shift the narrative. And then this goes back to 20. That's a 3x from here. And that's where my head keeps going.
So you like that other
the whole
bet.
Michelle...
Go ahead,
No, I say with the whole Michelle thing, like looking at 11%, it kind of shows you just how much sway her husband is having behind the scenes for her to be second at 11%. So I feel like it's not, is Michelle going to be run for the nominee? Is actually the question is Obama running for the nominee? Because the two of those, you're not voting for Michelle, you're voting for both of them together because they are a complete set.
I mean, they're married.
Yeah, well, no, they're married. He's a former president. So I feel like if you're making that vote, you're also voting, does Obama want to have that kind of position again? Barack, I'm talking about, not Michelle.
Which
and I
it's
think
also
that
like,
is something to hold in mind. Not does Michelle want to be president?
no, and you're also seeing a lot of people say that Michelle Obama would have one of the better odds to actually beat Trump, like just based on social sentiment, because like there was a pretty clear support for Barack, even from Republican sides, and like traditionally Republican people who vote that side felt strongly towards it with the economic situation at the time, with the social sentiment at the time. There's a lot of support in that corner versus say a Kamala, which many people are speculating that's even more left-leaning than Biden, which a lot of people are like, that's going to be tough. And they're basically already writing it off as a Trump win if Kamala gets the nod, very similarly to how the market's priced in a Trump win if Biden did not resign. And that's why we saw crypto sell off initially, was because of the uncertainty in the market was, all right, let's hear the guy. He's got a new shirt.
No, that's not a new shirt. And I think
it is.
He might be muted.
I'm not muted anymore.
Okay, there you go. Are you on the right mic? Yes. Yes, you are.
I thought it was.
You are.
Well, that's good to know. Dude, what are we talking about? What are we talking? We're like, is Michelle Obama?
Well, I want to first ask you a question. Did you hear any of this before about the odds and what the thesis is for these odds? That's what we're talking about.
No, I heard.
I just like to make sure because sometimes it's in one ear and out the other.
I was listening, and I guess I'm just a little bit skeptical. Well, because it's on Polymarket, suddenly we're qualified to give proper.
I'm only sharing what the entire timeline was talking about. Like none of this is from any other source besides tweets that get 1,000 likes.
Everybody,
and
every
250,000
Democrat, and I'm guessing some level of Republicans as well that hate Trump want Michelle to win just because of the one, like the one speech. Well, she said multiple things. It was like when they go low, we go high. Or
that's what Hillary Clinton said. Oh no,
no,
sorry, Michelle Obama said that. Yeah.
And then there were some other clips that she's had, which are very like, I don't know, just well spoken. But we know really not a whole lot about her general. Like, obviously she's married to Barack. But like she doesn't like talk about politics a lot. Like she's more of a I don't know. She's like more of an aspirational, inspirational, more someone like a coach or something like that you'd be thinking about in terms of some of her commentary on this stuff. But regardless, the one thing I will say that feels just wildly off, the sheer level of I think crypto Twitter is notoriously wrong. I just think their take is just like an isolated view of society. I think the longer that you spend hanging out trading, the more skewed your like worldview becomes. And the overall Trump sentiment, which don't get me wrong, like which heavily is built on the back of that photo, followed by this Bitcoin commentary, of which there was also like a fake version of it circulating. Did you see that? Or no, was that real? Did he actually say this at the convention?
Say what specifically?
About Bitcoin?
The Federal Reserve thing where he wants to back the dollar with it?
No, there's supposedly an announcement now, but there was like this like fake clip that I saw circulating, or I don't know if it was fake, where he was talking about, he was literally talking about Bitcoin and how he's going to make it. I don't remember the exact clip, but it wasn't
about if it was real or fake if we don't know the exact verbiage, my friend.
You would have seen it. there hasn't been any other massive statement from him on Bitcoin. So like, regardless, has he made a statement on Bitcoin is a better question.
At the RNC, yes, he did.
Yeah, this one.
That's at the Libertarian conference months ago. And so this was basically his first run. This is a real clip, Nick. This is his first run of essentially going on record and declaring his positive, policy proposals towards Bitcoin. And he did it at the Libertarian conference because, obviously, in theory, that crowd should like it, but the Libertarians are completely out to lunch when you look at them from the organizational perspective. And some of them are actually against Bitcoin, which is hilarious. That's like a fish being against water. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, yeah, okay.
It's true. I mean, they're like, we want, neutral money. And it's like, well, check out this Bitcoin thing. They're like, fuck that. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? But anyway, so yeah, if you wanted to finish your thought before we move on, Nick.
I mean, I guess just the main thing is I don't think we know what the, I see all that, like, suddenly everyone's turned on this. The bigger thing that's circulating, dude, I just don't know what to believe even from Twitter now, basically, like from pretty much anywhere, because there's so much garbage in my feed. Like all of the theories on, which feels accurate, but there's so much just commentary on Biden's letter that was written and then him not like making an announcement and there not being a photo. And then
it is kind of odd, but at the same time, knowing what you know about Biden, it's not that odd.
No, I know, but you wouldn't have seen all this. Like historically, you wouldn't have seen this. It would have been like something written in like a newspaper. So when you say like it's odd, what's odd is like how the social media sequence has happened, or that everyone got it from Twitter, is interesting and odd. There was a tweet that was like, oh, it was some guy, Rick, who did this. Like not even his chief of staff knew this.
That's wild. But regarding what you just said, maybe like 80 years ago or like 70 years ago, before television was a big thing, this would have came out like.
We're not that. No, social media would be the main difference, I feel like.
Yeah, but he would have gone on TV traditionally. Like people would go on TV to do this.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying is like the tweet happened. Like that's the thing that I'm like, what? That's where the news broke, which is just
weird.
Yeah, it's weird. He didn't say anything. I saw like some articles being like, does he have a terminal like disease, basically? Like, if he does, how did that not, like, there's all sorts of, like, weird.
Yeah, I mean, dude, on video 10 days ago, he, passionately declared he was going to be running and he was going to win. Then we didn't hear anything from him in terms of video for days. And then there was a tweet that said, I drop out if I got a disease. Then literally later that day, he tweeted out, I got COVID now, or it came out that he's like, I got COVID now. And everyone here was like, wow, they're really doing it this way. And then now, boom, you get a tweet last night, Sunday night, I'm dropping out. We still have no video. We still have nothing.
And on over the weekend, he was tweeting out threads, which it's clearly not him. He's tweeting out like Twitter threads about, I'm home at COVID. So I was with COVID. So I'm watching Donald Trump's speech right now. And he's like doing analysis on it. There's no way this is him.
Well, he hasn't used a computer in years. So obviously it's not him. It's not supposed to be him. That's not supposed to be like how it works. But yeah, it's a wicked weird move to like drop a thread and present it as literally Joe Biden wrote the thread. That is a kind of a strange move. When Barack Obama was president, if you guys remember, in the bio of the POTUS or whatever, I guess it was Barack Obama, I thought it was like POTUS Twitter account, it said tweets that are handwritten by Barack were signed like BO or something. Do you know what I mean? To sort of like tell you this is literally Barack Obama. The Joe Biden social media strategy on Twitter is kind of weird. But one thing that should be pointed out is Twitter was the platform that broke the biggest news of the United States president stepping down. That's pretty crazy.
I'd say like, cognitively over the past few weeks, he doesn't exactly seem 100%. So it would make sense that for him not to go onto television and to address the nation as him stepping down, or he's not stepping down as president, but not running for the next term. So I think writing a letter actually makes complete sense. And I know it's not a direct parallel, but for example, when Catherine Middleton, she like disappeared, and everyone was like, "Where is the princess? We haven't seen her in years. Like we haven't seen her in months." She didn't write a statement to say this is why I've been missing. She came on TV to do it, but she is 100% cognitive, and the reason why for her absence is completely different. So I think Biden writing a letter, and for him also to step out of his term with dignity. Like he's also thinking about his presidential legacy and what he will be remembered for as a president. And I think his team probably advised him it's better to write a letter than to go on TV and for something to potentially go wrong. And for the last thing for him to do as a president is like that is remembered, not that I love my country, I love serving, and I endorse Kamala. So I think it makes sense for the last couple of weeks of behavior that we've seen.
I think what you're saying is on the table. I think it's also on the table that he was essentially like forced out because the Democratic Party does have a history of this. I mean, they swept the legs out from underneath Bernie Sanders in 2016 when Bernie had significantly more momentum than Hillary Clinton. But they basically were like, "You like fuck off," and they just shoved Hillary Clinton down everybody's throat. This whole thing has been pretty wild. Like this is the cherry on top of a really weird presidency at this point, especially the last like year and a half, 2 years. It's been pretty wild shit. And when you just look at the last 10 days, I mean, he was on stage saying that he was going to run and that he was going to beat him. I know I just said this, but then I'd drop out if I had a disease. I got COVID. And then just the letter coming in last night. It's been wild shit. One tweet that I saw that really made me think is somebody tweeted, like basically this question's been burning in my mind or something. Who is the commander in chief of the United States right now? And that is like a crazy question to think about. Because like clearly, obviously, Joe Biden is impaired at this point and has been impaired for years, which is pretty wild, and has been getting progressively worse. Really, really bad. Like I feel like if someone put together a compilation of the last 10 years of Biden, like from Obama era Biden to now, and did like a year-over-year thing where they show video of him every year, it's like pretty rough. I mean, think about the run he's been on over the past 3 months with the Putin comment where he called Zelensky Putin, when he called Kamala Harris Donald Trump. That was a wild one out of all of them. He literally he made the mistake of thinking another woman with long hair in a blue dress was his wife like last week. Like literally last week, and his wife had to come and like, you know, like make sure that he was okay. It was a whole ass thing. And so the Bowden token, I mean, shout out to everyone that bought this thing and thought this was a good idea. I mean, it was fun on the way up, it seems. But anyway, quickly, the broader crypto market actually dumped on the Biden news. Bitcoin analyst Joe Consorti attributed it to Donald Trump's election odds actually decreasing after Biden dropped out, which means it's, you know, basically people were pricing in a potential Democratic victory, which, you know, is on the table. It's absolutely on the table. There's going to be a tremendous amount of support for whoever the Democratic candidate is. And we probably,
and we're already seeing it, Pio. Did you, sorry to interrupt, but we're already seeing that the donations have flooded in over the past 24 hours on the Democratic side. They've seen record amounts of donations just because Biden has dropped out, and whoever is the next candidate, anyone is better than him. So 100% what you're saying, Pio, the support for a Democratic rock would have got donations and would have seen record donations. Literally, you could have been a rock. Anyone has been better than Biden, and we're seeing that reflected in the markets. Absolutely.
Nick, looks like you want to say something before we move on.
Dude, I don't know. Like where is this data coming from? Like I don't. There's small donors raised, wow, over 27.5 million on Act Blue in first 5 hours. Who the fuck uses Act Blue after? You can't make a donate. After you make one donation, you never want to make a donation there again. Act Blue is like a cancer for donations. I guess that's the data point that we have. I don't know. Anyways,
Not sure.
The thing I was going to say is, what? Yeah, I mean, I guess it's you just hand off who the president is, you know? And I want to thank Biden for doing that to me.
Yeah, you will probably be the next president. It's clear that Biden hasn't effectively been the president for quite some time at this point. It's kind of president by committee is my assumption. Pretty wild stuff. So moving on to Ansem's meme coins. Clemente wanted to do a rate, and Ray did want a rate Ansem's meme coins segment. Crypto trader Ansem, well known on crypto Twitter, shared a list of his top 5 meme coins organized by market cap buckets. $1 billion plus is WIF, 500 million to 1 billion is MOG, 250 million to 500 million is Mew, 100 million to 250 million is it Mickey or Michi?
It's Michi.
There you go. Sub 100 million is Mother. Yeah, I can't help but throw that Iggy Azalea token in there. He's got to do that for his
It just
celebrity
officially
overlords.
flipped Daddy, the Andrew Tate token. So came back, said I have a big announcement. Speculation that something will be happening at Breakpoint as well.
Big accomplishment there. Other meme so I guess which of these 5 meme coins with Mog, Mew, Michi, and Mother are you most interested in? Easy.
Mother.
Really?
Yeah, I think it has the highest upside potential.
Nick, what do you think?
I'm just
You
pissed
mute-
because
oh.
I was saying, like, I've been in this. I've been in this, and I feel like I was getting faded. And now there's a sudden change of heart. There's a change of heart.
You
Like the
liked
markets,
Mother token.
you need ebbs and flows. The market's like the ocean, my friend. It comes and it goes. So, I mean, I'd be betting on this personally. I think we have 150 mil out of it personally. Like, I think it can 2x from here. It's more difficult for Mew to go to 1.5 billion, a Popcat to go to 2 billion. Those things become more difficult. Michi, I only see Ansem shill that one, so I'm not as interested in it, like, at all. I prefer to have more people on the timeline shilling him. If you wanted me to buy any of them, though, like, if I had the option to not buy any of them, I wouldn't. Like, that would be the alternative. I would just be looking for new coins. Like, yesterday, Dark Elon launched, which was Elon with laser eyes. That went to 3 million immediately. That was a
Dark
sick
MAGA.
bet, which was crazy because that's been out for about a week and it's now sitting at $70 million. You could have got in yesterday at like 100K.
Wow.
So that's like absurd.
If you look at the recent trades of Mother, it's all between Mother and Whiff and Mother and Daddy, which is an interesting swap.
Well, people like the whiff trade is tough because it feels like that's kind of played out at this point. Like, we still haven't gotten it on the sphere. That was supposed to happen God knows how long ago. Daddy's the Andrew Tate coin. People know another Tate token's launching, the Free World TFW, which he's openly talked about. So, like, when I start to look at those things, like, there's, quote, inherent risk because they have some level of utility that has to happen, either the sphere for whiff or the second token for Andrew Tate. I don't want those. Like, I want something that has none of that, which could be a Popcat, but we haven't seen a cat ticker hold over $1 billion. Mother's interesting because it's the only thing that Iggy has, that, and it's the lowest market cap. So it's all like risk return portfolio side of it, where like it's up now from 36 million up just under 2x. I'd be looking at that to go over 100. I like the comments though. MIGGLES is the one that I would be buying off of Sol. I'd be aping the base shitter MIGGLES personally. I think Coinbase is going to drop another video with that cat in it. The cat's ugly as hell. It's got something to it. It's officially from Coinbase as far as like the NFT, not the ticker, but there's still some overlap. All it takes is one more commercial from this damn thing to go back. Like, dude, it broke 100 mil, sold off, which like that is the big mental number. I'm more interested in MIGGLES than basically any of the Solana ones.
MIGGLES is no joke, baby. Come on, man. MIGGLES.
Something about it, dude.
Sig, any thoughts on Mog, Mew, Michi, Mother, and Whiff?
Well, after Easy did his PowerPoint presentation on MIGGLES on Friday, I feel like I have to get MIGGLES out of that list. I feel like I agree with just feels like it's lost a little bit of momentum since Q1 this year. And out of all of those cats, I do have that Michi one. I still have a bag of that Michi one. And every time I see that cat, I'm like, I'm going to keep that position, even though I'm completely underwater. But I would definitely go with MIGGLES. And Pio, shout out to you for the trade last 10 days. The Karma token. I was underwater on Friday. By Sunday evening, I'm making bank and I'm out. I was getting tagged on Twitter and being like, Signal, get out of your position. The trade has happened.
That's pretty funny.
But that was your idea. So thanks for that. And it has played out exactly how we've been talking about it over the past few weeks. It was lovely, perfect trade.
Sig got out of that green candle. I mean, man, this whole political situation between Polymarket and meme coins has been fascinating. Think about how much different this is than 4 years ago. There was not the same level of access to essentially speculate on these different mechanics in non-crypto markets and just the political markets. And you see, like I pointed out, Polymarket doing the victory lap of pointing out huge trades. There was one person that bet on Biden to drop out like 6 months ago when it was at like 4 or 6%. He got like a 25x or something like that on that trade. Pretty crazy stuff. People making a ton of money on Polymarket. I saw one person complaining about the fees on Polymarket. I haven't actually placed a bet yet. I don't know if Easy has and actually experienced those fees. Are those fees aggressive?
I haven't placed a bet yet. I actually messaged Hugo yesterday or tweeted at him and was like, Hugo, if we could just get some more deposits, I'd be happy. Like if I could deposit USDC on Sol and be able to trade with it, then I'd be all in on Polymarkets. It's just like a matter of like bridging the USDC to Polygon, then sending it over, which right now is just like extra steps. Like if I could send from any chain stable coins and then place bets, it'd be much easier to be getting involved. But like, I just have a lot of stuff that I'm taking part in. So it's one of those things.
I went back. I wanted to see when I bought Whiff. I'm an idiot. Like, holy shit.
You know this.
I bought Whiff back on December 15th. December 15th, Whiff was worth 0.6 cents.
Wow. So that's
0.6 of a penny?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So
how much
that
did you
would've
buy?
been a W.
I bought 10 Sol.
Wow.
I bought 11,000 Whiff at that point in time. Yeah, 11,000.
So yeah, you'd be sitting at 30 bands, 30 grand.
Wow.
But
That's pretty good.
I could have bought it. Dude, I'm just thinking the timing was there. I wonder now dude, my biggest issue at this point in time, what am I like? It's awesome for people that bought at that point in time. I feel like watching like K Money talk about Mog, like because he bought so early.
Yep.
That like it's a big win for him. But if you buy Mog or Whiff right now, what are you gonna get? A 2x, a 3x? Like what are you
with
aiming?
a lot of risk? It's a very aggressive risk level when you talk about buying these now.
I'm just
the risk adjusted returns are not as favorable as say literally even like Bitcoin from here. Do you know what I mean?
Or it's the same return, significantly more risk.
Right, exactly. Like Bitcoin has better risk adjusted returns.
100%. But then again, it's like any of the majors. Like someone asked me today, like, why haven't I considered buying ETH? And the whole thesis is like ETH to 10K is at 2.5x.
Our math was completely wrong. I'd have close to $600,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say the point.
I thought you said you would have had 11,000 with.
What was the US dollar value, Nick? $0.006.
It was 0.6 cents.
Got it.
0.006.
0.006, and you had 11,000.
Yeah.
Of this thing.
But it was. I don't know, man.
No, the math doesn't add up.
Yeah,
you're 11,000. You had 11,000.
I would have had $40 million, okay? And I don't need anyone to check.
This is like the simplest arithmetic of all time. But anyway, we'll never know, ladies and gentlemen. We'll just never know
40 million.
What the true numbers are.
Right.
Anyway, the only number that we're sure of is the 11,000 Whiff. So that's actually pretty easy. How much is it now? $3.50?
We don't need to run the math on that, okay?
Yeah, so Easy was right. It's almost 40K. Congratulations.
50 billion.
Okay, so anyway, moving on, a quick hitter here. Ethereum ETFs trading live tomorrow. Still pending official approval of the S1 applications were expected today. I just love how these agencies like the SEC or commissions are just like, last minute with fucking everything. Like, can you get anything done ahead of time? It has to literally be the day before. Like right now, people are in New York getting ready to start their workday being like, yeah, let's approve these things the day before they're supposed to go live. It's just funny to me. Like, get your shit together. Which they won't. Anyway, Ethereum ETF fees were released from with 6 firms opening at 0%. Grayscale's ETH Mini? What is this? This Grayscale's ETH Mini? What is that, a typo? Mini? I don't know what that is, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, So yeah, we analyzed the fees in depth on Friday. We don't have to talk about that again. We did a whole deep dive on that. Ethereum is up 5% in the last week, getting outperformed significantly by Solana and also outperformed by Bitcoin. Question is like, is the ETF already priced in? No staking provided for the ETF yet, and I wouldn't expect that anytime soon. The question is, why would anyone want to buy the Ethereum ETF over the Bitcoin ETF? My perspective on this is that someone would want to take a little bit more risk and play the long game on the Ethereum ETF, thinking that for the remainder of the cycle, there's a chance that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin, considering it's underperformed Bitcoin and Solana thus far in the cycle, which I think is a very fair bet to take. And you're basically saying, well, this asset's underperformed, and now there's actually like the TradFi liquidity unlock and the second ever crypto ETF, spot ETF to be approved. It's a really big deal. That's what I would think. And I will, for example, with my mom's money, have some exposure to this ETF. Signal, any thoughts? Or Nick, any thoughts? Easy.
Well, I was just thinking, if the Ethereum ETF doesn't do well, I think it's bad for crypto in general, for the future ETFs to come. I think it would be bad if a Solana ETF was to be approved, and then you were to expect that institutions would pick Solana over Ethereum. I just don't see that world happening. So I really want to see good inflows into the Ethereum ETF, because it means that it marks momentum for more capital to be invested into different ETFs in the future. But I still think Ethereum at 3,500, given these inflows and lagging this whole week, still feels undervalued. I think the market's still undervaluing it quite a bit because people are so uncertain what the inflows will be. But I'm taking a positive view that it's going to be good inflows this week. And I think on the bet on Friday, we said we're going to see I bet over 300 million in 3 days.
Yeah, you guys are going to get wrecked on that bet. Let me tell you that. But I do agree with everything that you said, minus the bet. I said under, if you remember. Easy said $1 billion. That's going to look historically wrong. But anyway, Easy, how do you feel about Ethereum here?
You brought up the risk-adjusted return. I don't care about ETH, like, at all. Like, send it to 10K, great. You have less than a 3x. Like, why would I not put it into Solana? That's literally the whole, like, thesis. Like, why would I not just put it into Sol? If Sol goes to 500, it's the same return. And then you still have the euphoria phase following it, which, like, I just think you have significantly higher upside, personally.
Well, thanks for the insight. Nick, you once called yourself literally an Ethereum maximalist. You literally said that you were an ETH maxi and you were all about ETH last cycle. That's obviously changed. How do you feel about this thing?
Did I describe myself as an ETH maxi?
Yes, you did.
And you would say, you'd be like, I'm bullish on that ETH. Like, it was like this shiny, object, dude. And it's like, no, it's not. Money.
That's not that I was.
Yeah, you kept saying it's ultrasound money. You kept saying that
he didn't say that. He didn't say that. I would be the first person to call out Nick for calling it ultrasound money. Only the most respected people in the space called it ultrasound money. So don't worry about that.
You kept saying it's a flight to safety. I don't know if these were just the words out of your mouth. I'm just relaying the message.
No, well, Easy's joking now. All the things I said were true that Nick said. But anyway, Nick, in all seriousness, just giving you a hard time, buddy. Even though you did say all those things.
I don't think I said that.
That we have video. I mean, we could just dig up the archives of the show. You said, like, I specifically remember you being like, I feel like I'm pretty much an ETH maxi at this point, blah, blah, blah. You loved ETH, dude. It was the shiny object of last cycle.
Maybe I would have said, like, I feel like I am in the context of something else, but I don't think I was walking around being like,
on that ETH.
ETH is a flight to safety.
I did not say that.
Bullish on that ETH, dude, because I was talking about how I was like, oh, you're going to sell that NFT. And you were like, I'm not bearish on the NFT, but I'm bullish on that ETH.
Oh,
like the ETH was just going to go crazy.
When I sold the punk.
No. The punk was recently.
No.
Bro.
I think you sold
your
sub
years
duck.
ago.
Your sub duck.
No, you've been out on ETH for like fucking a year now.
Man, my words are being completely misconstrued and misrepresented. And I think that's just like a bunch of bullshit.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
There's audience members chiming in.
Saying what?
that you were previously an ETH maxi and talked shit about Sol, which you did.
And then Sol's price went up and ETH's didn't. And you're like, yeah, Sol fucks. Forget about ETH.
There was a lot of Sol FUD in late 21, early 22. A lot of it. I haven't forgotten.
Okay. So, sorry, I just had to turn on my
We're
lights.
giving you a hard time. But at the same time, it is all true. But in all
It's okay to
seriousness,
be wrong sometimes.
what do you think about ETH here? Former ETH maxi.
I own some. I don't see that it's not going to run at all. It was weird that like Solana was pumping and ETH wasn't.
But why is that weird? I'm genuinely curious. Why is that weird?
It's called competition for something that has a million competitors. One thing I will say, Nick, and I want to hear your explanation on this, but one thing I will say is, like, when I would bring up Bitcoin last cycle and stuff, you would talk about like the developer focused nature of Ethereum and how like the developer, the value is going to go to where the developers are. Without the developers, blah, blah, blah. But it turns out that it's just okay. But the developers now are going to go to Solana, and because you have to be able to discern, like Ethereum and Solana compete with each other. They don't compete with Bitcoin. It's like Bitcoin competes with gold and silver. So the problem with that is now you have Solana, which kicks ass, and it's kicking Ethereum's ass. And by the way, next cycle, something could kick Solana's ass in theory. I'm not saying that I think that's going to happen, but
we may
that's
even
kind of the
by
situation.
kicking Ethereum's ass, you mean there's meme coin apps built on it?
There's more action.
Just purely users, volume, deck swaps, like all of the liquidity right now is cycling to Sol. And like that is clearly shown by on-chain data that Sol has more users, more DEX volume. You look at something like a mobile app like Moonshot, which yes, is a meme coin based app that's using Apple Pay to integrate. It's significantly easier right now to get somebody to do something on a Solana based app. You even look at something like Steppen, which arguably can be considered the best consumer app that we've seen so far, with millions of users on it at the time, was Solana native. And we haven't seen any breakout hit for anything built on ETH. And there's even an argument to be made that there's now gaining more traction for developers, to your point, going to Sol.
I'm still waiting. Like, yeah, right now we're still just betting. My whole point is like, I hate the Solana development experience personally. That's the main thing. But
That's
I
fair.
still stand by if the developer, like if developers go somewhere, that doesn't, there's no difference in my position on that. It's wherever the developers go, that's where the market goes. I just think in general, the question is, do we think ETH is just going to sit at the current price that it's at relative to everything else? And my answer to that is no. I just don't think that that's the case. So like, do I think that Solana can run? Yeah. That's my biggest bag. So like that is the position. People that are like, Nick was just bearish on Solana since the beginning is such a wild statement. Our entire thesis on Easy was Solana. Like at the beginning.
And confirm.
Because
You were bearish though. You were bearish at the start.
No, but we were bullish on you, and I think that was heavily based on not just your trading activity, but also your bullishness on Solana. And you seem basically you have no loyalty to any of the chains. You have loyalty to the pocket. And I think that that's a good indicator of where activity is.
I will agree with that. Correct. It's
but
also
the last thing I'll say on that is its loyalty to the pocket is not necessarily always 100% accurate in terms of where the market is. In this space, it is. And that's because it's so heavily financialized. So like, and therefore meme coin activity is the core app in the blockchain space or the crypto space at this moment in time. That's the main activity. NFTs are not the main activity, although more crypto pumps. There's still people on my timeline that mention NFTs, but I just don't see it to the same degree as meme coins. I still also come back, is it like no one here has loyalty to any meme coin as far as I can tell.
God, no. Absolutely not.
The
like
market's too disrespectful to meme coins for me to have you know, I don't get like the initial allocation, like literally when the thing comes out. So you get a bajillion of the meme coin for like $2, and then the thing goes up by like 10,000x and you make $1 million. So I don't have any.
I do want to
allegiance
call
a
one
meme
thing
coin.
out too, though. I do think ETH will have its day sooner than later, especially if Larry Fink ends up in any capacity closer to the SEC. The comments he's made about tokenizing basically every asset, I think will take place on like an ETH or an ETH-L2. So like that is just purely off the security basis of it. The chain is more secure than Sol. The security aspect's extremely interesting to me. Would it shock me if it happened on an L2 of ETH or an EVM-based chain? Not at all. Like that is where I'm like, that is my, to play both sides of the argument, that's where I'm like, okay, I'm bullish ETH, but I'm more bullish L2s than native ETH purely because of transaction costs and speed. So like my thesis would be L2s are going to be the winner, which is still inherently ETH.
Yeah, and keep in
Larry,
mind,
but if Larry Fink becomes the U.S. Treasury Secretary, and you still have the opinion, I mean, and given he's the CEO of BlackRock, and you think ETH's not going to do anything, you're out of your mind. You are out of your mind. That guy, even though he'll be on, he'll be poacher turned gamekeeper, i.e., gone from being on sort of the hunting side to like the safeguarding side, his influence on the investment side will still be astronomical, and he will want BlackRock to continue to do well and in the entire sector. So I do not see a world where if people like, Pierre was sort of talking about the swamp, go over to the to be on the political side, they will keep pushing their own bags. And that's why I think everyone is still not quite wrap their head around that this cycle for the big boys, it's an institutional play. This
100%.
is not like little meme coin retail money running around. And that is what is influencing now the direction of where Bitcoin and Ethereum go in the future. So what is happening in politics directly influences the bags. And I think we just need to be thinking a bit more macro and not thinking so micro from how it was in the previous cycle.
Well, call me
and
crazy.
politics.
So
Yeah,
I was
go
going to
ahead,
say,
Easy.
call me crazy, but like, what if you mentioned the BlackRock and Larry Fink thing? What if they tokenize on something like Base, which they would feel more comfortable on because of the Coinbase allegiance that it has and the Coinbase blockchain, which is an ETH-L2. And like, the more I think about it, the more that something like that makes sense, where gas is a penny and transactions are quick. Like, all things considered, it's still an EVM chain and it has the security of an EVM rollup, but it's also backed by Coinbase, which is exactly what's powering all of the ETFs. So like for me, that's where my mind goes when I think of like the bull case for ETH is the L2s. Like you just had DeFi Llama pulled up on the video stream, 750,000 wallets or addresses on Base versus 360K on ETH. So stuff like that is where my mind goes. And I'm like, yeah, sure, you have more wallets because people are doing this Base summer stuff. Obviously, we're not getting liquidity on a variety of different things over there. But that feels way more interesting to me from like what could actually come to life based on user numbers.
I like that.
It's also just like the trust. Like you look at like who is providing the support for the ETFs. It's Coinbase for over 90% of them. So like there's already an allegiance that you're seeing from the SEC towards that chain and specifically towards that organization, which has their own blockchain. Like that's probably the toughest part for me to fade, and where I'd be more inherently interested to have liquidity would be Base.
So quickly, we have about 8 minutes. So I want to get through a lot of stuff. Some closing thoughts on this. I like your Base idea there, and because of the existing relationship between TradFi and Coinbase, and the fact that Coinbase is an above-board publicly traded crypto company, basically the gold standard in the United States. I also want to point out that because I do find that some of the ETH crowd can be sensitive. I do think that ETH is going to go up, and I think it's going to make a new all-time high, and I think it's going to perform well. And I have exposure to it, so I just want to make sure that nothing is misconstrued when we kind of discuss ETH on this show. I do think number goes up in a significant way, and I do think a new all-time high gets posted. Some quick hitters here, and we got like some background noise. I don't know what's going on. We got some background noise somewhere. Binance received approval to invest customer funds into U.S. Treasury bills. Interesting little story there in the Binance world, with the biggest global exchange. Next story, resolution of the case between Ripple XRP and the SEC could happen as early as this Thursday. So more legacy baggage, doors are closing. There's going to be a meeting this Thursday where the resolution is being speculated. Ripple is up almost 30% on the month to a $34 billion market cap. That would imply that we're going to get a resolution because the market typically tells the story. Next story, Mochaverse, which is Animoca Brands NFT collection and now token, announces partnership with the TON blockchain. So Mochaverse is aiming to be the network of networks. So another interesting little story there. And another story from the NFT corner of the market, ApeCoin DAO proposed, this is the DAO and coin behind Bored Ape Yacht Club and Yuga Labs, which is we'll call it the largest NFT organization. ApeCoin DAO proposed creating an ape-themed hotel in Bangkok. It's a pretty interesting idea there if they have the resources to pull something like that off in Thailand. Man, that'd be a jam. That'd be pretty cool. And Ape seems
they're going to make it before they're going to make it before Bored Ape Yacht Club launches their actual club.
Well, there you go. So look, if we look at the catalyst to watch for, we have tomorrow the Ethereum ETF launch. The 27th is Saturday. We have Trump speaking at the Bitcoin conference. There's also speculation that Elon Musk is going to be there. On the 31st of July, we have another Fed meeting, an FOMC meeting. Then we have some data like payroll data and CPI coming out in August by the 15th. Both of those are going to come out. So OSF, a very talented market analyst, has posted some pretty interesting scenarios. He thinks that Ethereum ETF flows could be good and ETH could rip above 4K. That's one scenario that could happen. New all-time highs for Ethereum meme coins like Pepe and Mog, including Mog to $1 billion. Solana already shown its hand the last few days and ends up joining that big rally. And Solana memes take a leg higher, and Bitcoin rallies into Trump's Bitcoin speech at the Bitcoin conference. So some pretty interesting stuff there. Yeah, I mean, look at that. Easy. Any thoughts on what some of this stuff and what could happen? You have Bitcoin up 8%, ETH up 5%, Solana up 19%. Bitcoin ETFs on an 11-day streak in the green, adding $1.2 billion in net inflows last week. Another strong week. Crazy stuff there. Solana's path, you say, to $200 is clear. Can you expand on that?
I think it's pretty clear here that we're going to see $200 before September personally. Like, just the price action that we're starting to see is continuing to show strength. ETH ETF inflows are going to be a massive indicator, especially with speculation that the Solana ETF is going to happen at some point. And I think that's why Sol's been outpacing ETH, because it's on the back of the speculation. We now have the know that an ETH ETF is happening. So like the price action here, I think we might cool off here for the next 7-10 days, give or take, just because we've been running up only nonstop. But I think going into September, all of August is going to be a choppy month with some good volatility that if you're a short-term trader, you're going to be able to take advantage of. Some slight dip following that, then election, we absolutely send. Like, I think we go back to all-time highs across the board. And that's where my head's just kind of been at. But, like, we have this speculation right now of a Sol ETF. And that's why I'm like, yeah, this starts to make some sense here. That's why it's been outpacing. So that's kind of where my head goes. Is I want to see us continue to get legs in the market and ultimately show that Sol is leading, which I think is good for a Bitcoin dominance pullback, and then a rally across the board when it comes to like end of the year price action, which is a little bit sooner than I thought we would see, especially with the price action we got recently. Nobody could have predicted an assassination attempt in a Biden dropout, which I think has actually helped a lot of the crypto prices, especially just kind of like how the market views geopolitical situations and where it kind of goes from there. We'll see, but I do think Sol to 200 before the election cycle.
I mean,
Nick,
I feel like we're aren't we at like 180? We're being like, all right, so I got a bold call. Right now, Solana's at
Nick, if we want to do this again, I said 125 was the bottom, and you're like, I think we go lower. So we're only up $50 from the bottom. Sorry.
All right, well, I kept buying as it dropped, so it doesn't matter either way. But what I was going to say is, here's a bold bet. Right now, Solana is sitting at 178.46. I'm going to bet, and hear me out here, that before the end of the year, Solana is going to hit 183.
give us a real bet, Nick.
240.
Yeah? That actually makes sense because we already got up to 220 this cycle.
I don't
What?
know if we break all-time high. It's going into the end.
So
of the year.
here's my target. I'll give you the exact number. Give me 2 seconds. I will walk you through the exact target that I have on Solana, which was in a downward trend there for a moment. And there was like this wedge that was on a descending wedge, maybe I would call it. So I would go from 120 up to 200. So I'm gonna go up to 280.
280. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 280, and I'm gonna give it until boom, 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 by the end of. Give me 2 seconds here. February 27th tomorrow. I'm gonna give it by the end of August.
Okay. Wow. 280 by the end of August.
Correct.
You heard that, ladies and gentlemen. That's a nice little prediction.
You're
from
wrong.
Nick.
Simply put, you're wrong.
All right. So what are we betting here, dude? I
My
just lost $1,000
my
on
Solana
Biden.
bag versus your Solana bag. So I'm
How
giving you
about
better odds.
$100. How about $100 US dollars?
Let's bet one Solana on it. Nothing,
Okay, well-
nothing crazy. One soul. One soul. There's completely
All right. And so
straightforward.
if I'm gonna hold on, let me just de-risk a little bit here because what was the number I just said? No, what was the
280.
number?
I'll give you 240. I'll give you 240 end of August.
Okay, I'm still okay.
Well, I'm giving you a 240 end of August.
You'll give me your entire Solana bag, and I'll give you one soul.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. One soul bet. Loser sends the other one soul. 240 over under.
Are we
On
just
the
doing
top.
even odds on this, or was there an advantage? Do I get an advantage because the odds are not as
Because
much?
it's a
in my
bold
favor?
prediction.
Here we go.
Yeah.
220
No,
Wow.
end of
E-
August.
for one soul. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Soul.
I
Just
like
one
this.
soul. 220 end of August. I don't even know how many days are in August, so let me double check that because
That was a
Someone
nuts on
says
the
280
table.
within 5 weeks. That's right.
220 for September 1st, midnight September 1st price. 220. One soul to the winner.
It just needs to tap it before.
Just tap it. It has to touch 220 on TradingView. It has to be the TradingView chart
for that date.
before that date at any point. Does not have to close over it. Has to the wick has to hit 220.
Tick the wick.
Tick the wick. Nuts on the table. 220.
I like this nuts on the table bet from Easy right here. Nick, you got to take this bet since you just said 280. He gave you 60
You're like,
bucks.
yo, you got to drop your nuts. You got to take out those nuts and just go blam right on the table.
Bam!
That's what you have to do,
Right on
Nick.
the table. Just
That's what you
bam!
have to do. Take them out, lift them off the ground, those giant nuts, and throw them on the desk for all to see.
Unzip your pants.
Holy shit, those things look like boulders.
All right. Well, anyway, is this a real bet then? One Solana nuts on the table.
Air shake on it.
220? Air
Giant
shake.
boulder nuts
Air shake.
on the table right
Air
here,
shake.
dude, for a whopping one soul.
Either $220 or less. Air shake.
Air shake, Nick. One
Big
Solana.
ol'-
Wow. $220, ladies and gentlemen. August 31st. I think there's
Oh,
31
can y'all even
days.
see my face? Because my boulder like nuts are on the table right now. Wait,
Okay.
can you even see me?
Okay. One Solana, ladies and gentlemen. You saw it this morning, unplanned on this show, a bet between Nick and Easy regarding the price action of Solana. The initial bet was 280. Easy put his nuts on the table and said 220. Nick obliged, and they did an air shake for one Solana. $220 is
Has this show gotten more exciting ever? Probably not than that one Solana bet. I don't think it's gotten more exciting.
Me either. Me either. So look, ladies and gentlemen, closing the most exciting show of all time because of that high octane Solana related bet right there.
I
The
have to
show's
give $1,000 away to each of those the nifty island things today, actually. So we should
is that the AVAX one?
what? No, Nifty Island.
Okay, never mind. Sorry. Anyway, so today's show was brought to you in partnership with Tensor, ladies and gentlemen. That's the leading Solana NFT marketplace. After you win your similar bet with whoever you make a bet with about the price of Solana at the end of August, you can take that Solana and rock and roll with it on Tensor. This is for whether you are a pro trader or a beginner. Tensor has a fully customizable experience, allowing you to use the platform in a way that's suited to your trading or collecting trading needs. With the Solana NFT ecosystem continuing to heat up, you want to elevate your trading experience with features like their Pro Mode, Price Lock, USD, and listing charts, and more. So go to Tensor.trade, take your NFT trading experience to the next level. Big shout out to Tensor, built by developers. Just top tier team over there. Very familiar with the ins and outs of boots on the ground Solana level experience. So we love working with Tensor, on an ongoing basis. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back tomorrow. The show happens Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, each and every week, available wherever you get your podcasts, Apple and Spotify podcasts. Also, YouTube, you can hit the like button and subscribe button for the video feed on YouTube. And of course, X Platform Video or X Spaces, Twitter Spaces, wherever you consume your content, we're there. Give us a like, give us a retweet, give us a comment, help support the show. And obviously, check out our partners like Tensor, Tensor.trade. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back tomorrow. Catch you guys later. Clemente is going to close this out.